Hey, this is Brian from The Disturbing Illusion. I really appreciate you tuning in, liking this video, sharing this video, and supporting this channel and this work. Our goal here is to light brush fires of freedom in the minds of men. I wanted to talk about this right here the other day. I promised you that I would discuss this viral interview with this girl named Lavora Vincent. She had some things to say to DWS News on the streets, and this is during the No Kings protest. We're going to listen to what she has to say. This is not to condemn her. I applaud her for being tuned in to what's going on and attempting to make a change. There are a lot of people who have good intentions, but like Daniel Webster says, good intentions will always be pleaded for every assumption of authority. Every demand for power is going to have what they call good intentions. And a lot of us still have indoctrination that we need to clear out of our brains. And I would count her as one of the indoctrinated based on what she says. Now, there's a lot of people who love what she said. This person right here says, if you're not angry, you're not listening. Profoundly strong statement. Thank you. I completely agree. If you're not angry, you're not paying attention to what's going on. And if you're angry at the puppet politicians on this side of the stage and not the puppet masters who are animating and funding and controlling the puppets on this side of the stage, you're not paying attention to what's going on. Respect this young lady. This is finally what I expect from a great country. U.S. citizens, wake up. We are not citizens. We're not denizens of a city. We are not subjects to the jurisdiction thereof. We are men and women on the land, and no other man or woman has the right, the legitimate right to control us, push us around, rob us, and rule us. Check out what she says here.
Metro Atlanta.
Awesome. Do you go to school out here?
Yes, I do. I'm a student at Kennesaw State University.
Tell me a little about what made you come out here today and be surrounded by other hundreds of people that are here today.
I think the answer is really obvious. These are my countrymen. This is my country. And my entire life I was told that I have the right to protest, that I have a right to care. And I do care. And not only do I have a right, it's my duty. It's my duty to care about what's going on. It's my duty to stand up. People have been talking about injustice since this country was built. This country was built on injustices. We killed Native Americans, then we built it off the backs of slaves, and they want to talk about how reparations.
Now, to be fair, pretty much every country has been built on injustice and murder and theft and extortion and coercion. That's unfortunately, that's the grim reality of our life. There are people who look at that land over there and look at those resources and look at those people, and they're like, those are my resources. I'm going to control those people. If they get in my way, I'm going to kill them and I'm going to acquire their land. That's empire building. That's expansion. That's westward expansion. That's what happens. Countries take over, rulers of countries rob and rule other people so that they can acquire more land and more power. That's just what happens.
And that's just, it happened 100 years ago, and we shouldn't talk about it. We see the effects today. America was built on bigotry. America was built on hate. And it doesn't have to be that way. I do not live in a country. I do not pay tax dollars to murder innocent people.
Well, we shouldn't want to pay tax dollars. We should, if there was going to be a protest, and I'm not even saying protests matter, but if there was going to be a protest, there would be a nationwide protest where every American should get out in this, or would get out in the streets and protest the people who control the issuance and value of our currency, which means they set the value for our time and labor. That, there's another word for that. It's called slavery. When somebody can set the value of your time and labor, and they can determine the issuance and value of the currency that you work for, you are 100% enslaved. And this has nothing to do with the politicians, other than the politicians are the sock puppets on the hands of the Zio International Banking Cartel that owns this currency. They're being animated by the puppet masters, and they are setting the policies for the masters, which results in two things. Number one, laws end up ruining and taking away our rights and devaluing our wealth. So it's a power and wealth transfer every time a law is created. So it's not the politicians so much, even though they are playing their part. It's not the law enforcers so much. It's those who fund the law enforcement class and the political class with the funny money fiat currency Ponzi scheme called the petrodollar that we currently have today.
These are people. This is a country for us. This is a country of my parents and my children and my neighbors. And this is a country of immigrants. The colonials did not pay thousands of dollars. They did not wait 8 years to have citizenship. They didn't do that. I am not going to sit here while my people suffer.
What do you think about the president? I know currently in D.C. he's having a birthday party sort of parade. What do you think about that as you guys are protesting here and in other cities across the country?
I can remember in 2016 all the propaganda that was put out on North Korea and how they had a show for Kim Jong-un's birthday and all the rockets that they displayed and the nuclear weapons. And the West took that as an insult and kind of a threat. Well, I see absolutely no difference in what's happening in D.C. right now. It's an absolute waste of tax dollars in any kind of way that you can put it. It's a threat.
Totally true. It's an egotistical, tyrant-boosting threat to display your military forces. Totally agree. Complete waste of money. $25 to $50 million was spent on that stupid parade when it could have gone to something else. I mean, if you're going to extort money, you might as well help people and not throw it away like that. It's literally burning $50 million in front of our faces.
It's a threat to the American people that says if you step out of line, we will destroy you. We will take.
But isn't that government? If you step out of line, if you don't pay your taxes, if you don't submit like good American tax cattle, we will come after you. If you don't do what we tell you to do, if you have alcohol in the 1920s, we're going to come against you. If you have marijuana in the 2000s, we're going to come against you. If you do something we tell you to do, if you don't do something we tell you to do, we're coming to get you. Isn't that government? There's always the implied threat of force and violence and brutality and coercion. That's always attached to government. If you remove any one of those elements, you don't have government. So what are you marching for? Are you marching for a regime change where the banksters are still going to be in power no matter who you install? And what's your answer for no kings? Their answer is we need to install our king who's going to promote our agenda because we have good intentions. Don't you realize that that is the bread and butter of the two-party system? That is what makes it work. Is the people on the other side are saying the exact same things you are. They're saying, well, we need to install our regime change puppet. We need to install our warmonger. And they're not saying that. They're saying we're going to install our savior. He's going to make things better. He's going to make things cheaper. He's going to make our lives easier. That's always the alibi of tyrants. The safety and prosperity of the people will always be the alibi of tyrants. The people on the right say it. People like this on the left are saying it. So the answer must be somewhere in between. Hey, why don't we do something different? Why don't we not recognize political parasitic psychopaths who are owned by the banksters? And while we're at it, why don't we go after the banksters and institute sound money so they can't do all this dishonest counterfeiting? It's literally a legalized counterfeiting ring. They're making money up out of thin air. If you did the exact same thing government did, you would rightly be put in jail because you're devaluing everybody else's dollars.
Everything you love away, and I'm not going to stand for that. This is America, and you are nothing without the American people. And
by standing in protest of it, you're actually standing for it. I've never heard anybody at a No Kings rally saying we've got to end that. We've got to try and charge and jail the banksters. Never heard one person. They're looking at the puppet show. They're enamored with the puppet show. They're propagandized by the puppet show. They really believe that the two-party system is the best we can do. You don't have any answers because you're not a part of the two-party system. The two-party system is what brought us wars. We have engaged in so many wars. In the last 100 years alone, our nation has been responsible for how many deaths? How many deaths have we been responsible for? World War I, World War II, the Korean War, the Vietnam War, the Gulf Wars, Desert Storm. How many trillions of dollars have we wasted? How many bodies have we thrown at bankster wars? But she wants to down Donald Trump, which he's rightly criticized as an evil dictator, just like Biden is an evil dictator, just like Obama. You don't know the difference between a dictator. Whether a dictator by one in a monarchy or a dictator by many in a democracy, 535, we went over this in our last couple videos. 535 members of Congress. You've got 9 Supreme Court justices. You got 1 president of the United States. They're all against shall not be infringed. They're all against you having the right to be secure in your person's house's papers and effects. They'll take your house. Matter of fact, they claim ownership to your house through property taxes. You stop paying those property taxes, guess what? The oligarchy will take that house from you. She's not marching for that. She's marching against Trump. She's marching against Trump is as powerful as marching against Kermit the Frog and not going after Jim Henson.
I want you to know that.
Anything else you can think of you'd like to add or mention?
If you're not angry, you're not listening. You need to be aware. It is your civic duty to care about what's going on. I don't care if you're Democratic or Republican. You have a constitution that sets freedom of speech. You have a constitution that sets freedom of the press. You have a living document that lives and breathes for the people.
You have a constitution that says shall not be infringed, but these people are totally for red flag gun confiscation laws. They are completely for gun violence and gun safety laws, which is a violation of shall not be infringed. She doesn't care about the Constitution while she proclaims to care about the Constitution. She wants to hold Donald Trump to the standard of the Constitution, but she's not willing to hold herself to that same standard. Therein lies the inherent hypocrisy and inconsistency of protesters like this.
That man is using it in corrupt, demonic ways, and he wants to talk about how the LGBTQ, how black communities, how POCs, how immigrants are the devil. That's only one devil I can see, and he sits in the White House.
So again, this is Lavora Vincent. She is very passionate. She claims to have good intentions. She claims to want to free her fellow Americans, but she doesn't have the understanding of who's really in control, because it ain't Trump, it ain't Harris or Biden, it ain't the RNC or DNC, even though they are driving forces because they're owned by the corporate elitists and the billionaires that they claim to be against. So they work in concert with and in accordance with the plan of the billionaires who she claims to be against. That is the paradox of marching in the No Kings movement. Leave your thoughts. If you want to subscribe to this channel, I'd really appreciate it. If you feel like it's worth it, like this video, share this video. If you want to support this channel in any way, the Cash App and Patreon links are in the description below. But I'm telling you, we've got to set raging brush fires of freedom in the minds of men, because I feel like we're approaching the 11th hour. Leave your thoughts in the comment section below. It really helps overcome the algorithmic judo that they're trying to lay against channels like this. Don't go after the puppets, go after the puppet masters. I will see you in the next video.